Check. Check, check, check. Check. Oh, we're live. I think it's working. I think it's working. I think it's working. Yes. Okay, it looks like I got about... I think I'm delayed about 5 seconds. I think I have about a 5-second delay. So just bear with me if you ask me a question. It takes me about 5 seconds to see you. I think I'm good. Let me just make sure. Make sure the link works. Link works. Yep. Link works. There we go. I'm up and running. Looking good. All right. Let me see if the chat works. Testing. Testing. Okay, chat works. All right, I think we're good. I think maybe somebody's here. I don't know. I'm still pretty new at this new way of doing the live. So, but anyways, I'm gonna get right. I'm gonna go ahead and start right into it. Hope everybody's doing a good. I hope everybody's having a good night. Tonight, what's up, Merlin? Tonight, we're gonna see how this goes. Just preface this by saying, you know, some days I'm on, some days I'm off. Just gonna see how the creative juices go. But tonight, I'm going to be doing a illustration. I haven't done any pre-work for this, but I'll be doing an illustration of a Joker from one of my up-and-coming subscription decks called the Peter Dash Flash. And the Peter Dash Flash is a nickname that they gave the P-51 Mustang during World War II. And this is the third deck in a 4-deck series called the War Series. And this one is paying homage to the P-51 Mustang, as you may know. And the theme of the deck, the artistic theme, is kind of based on the colors and paint job schemes, and not only, you know, including pinup art, but I don't really have any pinup art in the deck, but like artwork that was on the noses of airplanes and aircraft during World War II. So anything from pinups to all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's kind of the intro to what this Joker is going to be. And the two Jokers in this deck are going to be a little bit of, you know, paying homage to the theme of the nose art. So the style of the art will be very crude and rudimentary, like a lot of the nose art was during that time, because most of the times it wasn't necessarily an artist that was, you know, painting it. It was just whoever was on the crew that was the best painter. And so they always had this really kind of cool, you know, crude, you know, like style and execution. And I'm going to have two of them. And right now my concept is having a, I saw this, close it up. I've got this book that I got at Barnes & Noble, and their bargain price one. I think that's awesome. I always go to the bargain price, but it's called Nose Art. This one is by Tony Holmes, but this is a book about nose art, and it has just you know, it just has a ton of stories and images of, you know, different people during war, not just World War II, but like all the way from World War I all the way to like the stuff in the Middle East. And it just has all these different kind of nose art stuff, and it's really cool. And so the thing I'm going to do tonight is going to be the Suicide King. And the Suicide King, if you don't know anything about playing cards, is traditionally the King of Hearts. And it's not always like this, and it's not like a hard, fast rule that it has to be like this. But the King of Hearts is the Suicide King, and it's just he's not necessarily stabbing himself through the head with the sword. It just the position of the original traditional court cards was up here by his head, and it was going behind his head, and that evolved into him going through his head, calling it the Suicide King. And so tonight, what I'm going to do is my hope is just I mean, I'll be happy if I get kind of a flushed out sketch. I'll be happy if I do that. So my idea is I saw a picture in this nose art book of this skeleton, and he's straddling a bomb, and on the bomb, coming out of the bomb, is like a control stick of an airplane, and he's controlling the bomb, and he's like screaming, and there's like speed lines past him, and he doesn't really have like pants or anything on, but he's riding this bomb. And so my idea is something similar to where I have a bomb that's been dropped, and a king is riding this bomb, and there's a control stick coming out of the bomb, and the other hand, one hand has got the control stick, and then the other hand that the king has is going through his head, and then the name of the plane, or like the name of that above the card will be, Suicide King, as if the name of the plane was the Suicide King. And then the other idea is to do the other idea is to do the One-Eyed Jack, to where he's got an eye patch, and I might even make him a skeleton. I don't know, but I'm not a big fan of drawing skeletons because everybody draws skeletons. So we'll see. But the picture that did give me the inspiration was a skeleton, just so you know. All right, so I'm gonna change my screen over here. All right, I gotta turn my screen down a little bit and readjust my camera, because my little web camera is on the same screen that I do my drawing on, so I have to tilt it down a little bit. So this is the back. This is my base layer of kind of like metal plating that you would have on a plane, and I can kind of show you some of the cards. Like, here's the 10 of spades, and so every suit has a different every suit has a different color scheme. I'll show you the back design so you kind of get a little context. I don't have the sidebars, so it's kind of like this, to where you've got the back design and then these sidebars, and then each suit has a different color scheme of these sidebars. And if I can show you, let's see here. Let me find a picture. Let me see. And those sidebars are basically kind of reminiscent of like things like this, where you've got these checkered boards. Are really cool. They've got some that are like, bright orange, just like solid colors. I like this red and yellow color scheme. I've got that. Here's so you see like this yellow and black checkerboard right here? You can see that in here in my spades. If you look at my spades, the back, they have, so there's that, see the yellow and black checkerboard is very reminiscent to these kind of checkerboards. Let me just see some other ones, some other good images here. So you've got like solid colors, black and red, green and yellow. And so with mine, it's basically, I'm taking those elements, and then also, just while I'm here, if you look at this kind of font, it's very boxy, this boxy font here. Oh, I'm not going to get the picture. Let me go back. So like this real boxy font that's on the side of all the planes. I'm doing that same kind of thing here. Where I gotta go back. So like this, the font for all of the indexes is kind of that boxy font. And then here as you would have on the, it's not so much, here's one, like here's, oops, went back to that page. So like on this one you can see it's got these kind of Nazi crosses every time that they go on a successful mission. I don't know if it was successful or not, but every time they go on a mission, they would mark, not all of them would mark it. There's the very traditional shark mouth. But sometimes when they would go on successful missions, they would, you know, mark their plane. See if I can find another one. Like here's one. See these Nazi flags here? So they would go on missions and they would do that. It'd be different things, like not have a lot of swastikas. They would have the bombers, not so much the fighter pilots, not so much the fighter planes, but the bombs. The bombers would have like pictures of bombs and stuff like that. So that's kind of what this. So you can kind of see right there the swastikas, and then so for this, it's kind of reminiscent of these painted bombs, and so but the painted bombs also represent the numbers. So there's 8 bombs on this, so on and so forth. 3 bombs, 2 bombs, and then the aces are kind of like a full-blown, that's a jack and an ace on top of each other. The aces are kind of like a full-blown color scheme, like with the tail art, because like you can see back here, different on the tail pieces, they would have like solid colors, or they would have these stripes, these really cool stripes. Let me find a different example. Like this one's got they have all kind of different, like these black and white stripes. And so the aces are kind of like, look at those red and silver stripes. So the aces are kind of like full out tailpiece paint job, and then like this has got a lightning bolt, and then the aces have a name of a plane. So like this is the Quicksilver. The diamonds are, let's see, the diamonds is the Screaming Mimi. And I'm not finished with the Ace of Spades yet. I don't have a name for it yet, but the name will be over here or something like that. So that kind of gives you the context of what the style of the art is. And so at this point, let me just see if anybody's got any questions. Doesn't look like anybody's got any questions, so I'll just keep on going. So basically, let me just look something up right quick. No, I tell you what, it's funny that you say that, Western Firearms. I had thought about Ed Roth. And I might do something like an Ed Roth painting. And I guess the only reason why I kind of haven't gone full 100% towards Ed Roth is that's really for like hot rods and rat rods. And it's not, I have never really seen, at least through the research now, it may exist. And for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you. Ed Roth was a famous painter that did like these kind of rat rod images to where I don't know where I'm going to go, so be wary. And it usually consisted of some type of large vehicle. My picture's in the way. Let me see if I can move my picture. So it usually was like a large vehicle, and then the driver, which was some type of, it was a rat of some sort or some kind of monster, was huge, coming out of the engine. The engine's usually coming out, and then the big shift stick is coming out. I may do something like that. I don't know. And I guess the only reason why I'm not 100% behind that is only because I haven't. That's really for hot rods from the research that I've been doing, not so much for planes. So. All right, so I'm gonna get right into this. This is gonna be a joker, so I'm just gonna create me a new layer. Make sure I'm all cleaned up over here, so I'm not getting distracted from all these layers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get I'm just gonna get my brush that I usually draw with. And I gotta fix sometimes my tablet goes crazy like it just did. I gotta fix it. There we go. Alright, so I got my... So what I'm thinking, I'm just going to sketch this out really quickly. I'm going to have the bomb right here coming down. Like this. I'll have to look at some bombs as reference, just to make sure. So the bomb will come down like this. And then the king will somehow, he'll be on top of it, straddling it like this. I'm not sure how big he's going to be. And then the joystick, or the control stick, I'm probably botching whatever it is. So the control stick will be here, and then with this hand, I'm already drawing it too big, so I need to come down a little bit. With this hand, he'll be like this. This hand will come up, and then he'll be holding a sword. The sword will be going through his head. He'll have a crown on, and then this hand will be gripping the joystick, and then he'll have like a cape, or like his robe or something will be kind of flying off behind him, speed lines, so on and so forth. That's the idea. So that's my first rough sketch. Now I'm just going to bring this down in opacity. I'm going to turn on my white background. If you have any questions, just ask me while I'm drawing, and I'll try to answer them. Yeah, Dr. Strangelove. Yippee! I can't. What does he say? I can't remember what he says in that. Oh yeah, he rides it like a rodeo, but it's much bigger bomb. So, I'm just gonna sketch it again, but this time with a little bit more, intent and focus on the drawing. So let's see. So I'm going to draw the bomb again. What I want to do is, so I'll just draw it a little bit. It's going to be the same drawing. I'm just going to be drawing it with a little bit more. Just trying to make it a little bit more tight this time around. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of sketching it in. And then I'm going to do a new layer. So I'm going to draw. Now when I draw people like this, I'll just kind of draw his skeleton, and that's just my figure drawing past in me figuring out what's it gonna look like. And then once I kind of get the shapes, and I might make him a little bit more, stylized, or like a character, a cartoon character. I don't know. I just kind of, what I usually do is I just kind of like draw the body. Kind of just rough it in a little bit. And so his arm will be coming down like this. His elbow. And then his hand grabbing the stick real tight. like that. Now, I definitely don't want this to look. I don't want it to look phallic, so I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna have to definitely steer clear of all that kind of mess. Cause somebody will say something, blah blah blah, and then his head will come up, and he's gonna be. I want him to have a. I want him to have a playing card feel, just because it's a playing card. You know, it's a playing card deck, and so I do want him to have a playing card feel. So I'm gonna try to work that in there as well. How I'm gonna do that, I don't know. I don't have a picture in front of me right now of a bomb, but I'm going to. Once I kind of get, once I kind of get the framework of what I want to do, I'll get a bomb and look at it. But again, this is kind of like, this is very, you know, kind of cartoon, and so and then he's gonna have his accoutrements, like the necklace and the belt, and somehow he's gonna have a cape, like his robe is gonna be flying back. Now, one thing that I can already see is I feel like his legs are kind of just like drooped down. I wanted to feel like it. I wanted to feel like he's almost riding a like a bull or something with his legs, and he's also falling through the air, so he's going to be going a lot faster. Oops. So I'm going to take it, and also his legs feel a little bit. His legs feel a little bit short, so I'll probably end up pushing that out. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do now is, let me see here. So I'm gonna pull up some reference right quick on my other screen. Let me do. I'm gonna do a bull rider, because I really want to get the legs right. Find me a good bull rider. So I'll just pull it over here so you can see what I'm looking at. So I like this one. Well, see how his legs are kind of like back. His legs are back. I like this one. This is good. And see how see how he's got his legs tight to the bull, and he's got his. I mean, his basically his legs are holding onto this bull more than anything else besides his hand. And see how his legs are pointed and his feet are pointed out. Let me see here. And also, like, when they're riding these bulls, they'll drag the spurs. I don't know if it's with the bulls or not, but I know it is that with like Broncos. They'll drag their spurs on them. I like that one. Let me find a good one. I want to find a good one that I like. I want to see if I can find one that might be even in the same angle that I'm drawing. This is a pretty good one, but he's kind of fallen off. It's not too bad. Saw one. Here's a good one. I like this one. It's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see his legs are going back. Same as that one. That's a good one right there. Where you see how his thighs are real tight, and then his thighs are really tight, and then it comes straight down. I really like this one. I like the way he looks. I like that his arm is straight, and it really feels like he's leaning back. I'm going to copy this one. Next, the one with the black and white next to the color what drawings at the same angle. So I don't have to have that same angle. I kind of like this. I like the feeling of this one. I mean, it feels like he's going down. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to make this invisible. I'm going to just crop this a little bit so I can see it. And I'm going to bring it over here on the side so I can draw while I'm looking at it. And I want to have it on this. I would normally have this on a different screen because that way I can see it and not be in my way. But I want you guys to kind of see what I'm seeing. So, and also sometimes I don't know if you want to see me do this, but if I'm doing something like this, I know it seems pretty simple. Let me see if I can pull it up. I know it seems pretty simple, but something like this, because it's like a geometric shape, I would just build it in 3D really quickly. And then, let me see if I can pull it up right quick. And I'll build one right quick in 3D. Let me find some reference of a bomb, so I don't look like a... let's do World War II bomb. That may give me a lot of things. So, this is kind of what I was looking for. Something like this. Let me pull this out of the way first, so it's not in the way. I like this. This one's too long, and I remember seeing somebody saying adding some girth, and I like that. I like the idea of adding girth. So I like these that have like the really short, stubby tops. I really like this one. This is almost like Little Boy. Like here's Fat Man. What kind of like Fat Man and Little Boy. I like this one a lot. See, I like this, how it's got this short, stubby nose, and it's got this little. I don't know if that's the detonator or something. I'm not an expert, so I like that. But I like the girth of this one. So I think I'm going to just kind of go from a cross between this one and this one. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically look at these images of these bombs. And the thing about geometric stuff is it's easy enough for me to build it in 3D. And so I'm going to build it in 3D right quick. Because it's easy. And also, when I'm finished, I can just pull it right into Photoshop and draw right over it. And then I'm done. And I don't have to worry about the perspective being off. That's the detonator pin. Got it. Thank you. So I'm just going to build this bomb right quick, and I'll get it in the exact angle that I want it in. Now I just got it up over here on this other window. I'm going to probably make it more girthy, so I'm going to make it shorter than longer, and then it kind of tapers off like this. And then it straightens out a little bit. Now, obviously, I'm making this up, so I'm taking my artistic license with this. Nobody's going to see this back part, so I don't have to really worry that too much about it. And then I'm going to put a ridge right here, because they kind of have these weld points, and I want to be able to draw over that. So. And I want this perspective to look right, because I think cylinders and circles not done in perspective look really wonky. So I want to make sure that it is correct. So I want to add these little weld points. Basically just for me to have a little line to draw on. Okay, I want to draw one right here. Oops. Give it a saddle. I could give it a saddle, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy and I don't want to have to draw a saddle. Because a saddle would be, oops. A saddle would be so much more. Ah, crap. There we go. Got those weld points. And let's give it the detonator. The chaos causing nipple. Yes, that's a good way to call it. So let's add the detonator. Give a little ridge. Goes in a little bit. Comes in. Comes out. There's the business end. Close it up. Got the detonator. Now let's draw the little tail fins, whatever you call them. I'm not sure what you call them. So they're usually going to go from the side. Let's see here. I want to fuse. That's what you call it. Maybe fuse the detonator. Oops. Been a long time since I've done 3D. I'm kind of rusty. I want to append polygon. I want to. I thought I'd do this. I'll just do it the easy way. Bring this over here. Bring it back. It's kind of like here. This comes up. I'm just looking at the pictures as I'm doing this. It's more over here on these things right here. So it goes up and then it goes back. So let's get this the way we want it. Top. Shrink this up a little bit. And yes, you're probably saying, oh my gosh, why is he wasting all this time on a bomb? Well, I want the bomb to look good. And I want it to be in perspective. And I don't want to phone in the bomb because I think it's important. So, and it's also an excuse for me to do 3D, which I like. And I don't normally get to do 3D. So that's why I'm doing it. Face. Extrude. Okay. Now I'm going to go from the front. I'm going to select this, rotate it, put the axis in the middle, and then I'm going to rate it 45 degrees. Going to select it. I'm going to duplicate it, negative 45 degrees. Take these both, duplicate them, and oops, I blew it. Want to merge, rotate, (180 degrees). There we go. Now let's add this little piece on the side. Like these. And it goes from the back to the back. So vertex, bring this back. Like that. Should be good. Center pivot, shrink it up a little bit. Now let's make it taller. Let's bring it out to about right. Schmear. Yep, that's good. Front. there. Almost done, folks. I spent all my time on the bomb, but that's okay. Well, it's okay for me, I guess. But I'm almost finished. Combine, duplicate, 180 degrees. Oops. $180. Okay, should be done. I don't need the view of the rear only because I'm not going to be drawing the rear. But this is what I want. I'm going to combine this. Combine. I want to do my wireframe. So I got the perspective lines. I'm going to view. Where's my view here? Windows, workspace. All right, so I like this, going back to my reference image, I like this. I like the way he's doing it, but I don't necessarily like that angle. So I'm going to create, I'm going to go back to Maya. So I'm looking at the angle. Let me see here. What do I want to do here? I want to get, let me see here. Let me open up another program here, because why not? Let's do another program. This is called KeyShot. I'm going to export this because I can, let's do, only because I've been a long time since I've been doing this. I'm going to do export, do OBJ, bomb, desktop, export. I'm going to bring it into import, bomb, okay, got my bomb here. Now I'm going to make the camera, I'm going to mess with the perspective, the focal length to really get it. See, that's close to what I'm looking for right there. Let's take out the ground. Let's just do environment, color. Alright, looking good. I think I'm going to push it even more. Almost like that. It's really coming down. I like that angle. I'm going to move it just a little bit. I like that. Yeah, I feel that feels good. So I'm going to hit OK. And then basically at this point, I'm just going to screen grab this. Copy it. Go back into Photoshop. Paste it. Put it on multiply. Bring it down. That feels pretty good. And then I'm just going to draw over the top of it. Basically trace it. Where's my stylus? There it is. But I'm gonna draw it in kind of my style of this pinup, real rough and crude. Anybody got any questions? I've been ignoring you guys. And this way, when I do it like this, I can draw it and it be. Now I'm not trying to be perfect because these were all real crude drawings, so I'm not worried about the lines being straight. I'm just freehanding this as I trace over it, but it gives me good perspective lines. So I'm just going to draw over this really quickly. Now I'll add the curves to it. I'm not going to draw like these faceted corners because I don't need to do that because the real thing are not like that. And I'll add my little details here and there. Little weld marks and stuff like that. Like right here, it would have a weld mark. around this seam, and it would kind of bump up like that. And sometimes I might even, who knows? I mean, it's a little bit more involved than I'd like to, but, you know, take pictures, go outside, me get on something, have my wife take pictures of me riding something, my neighbors look at me weird. But now my perspective is good. This bomb will look good. It won't look weird and like a third grader drew it. Got the business end here. And I can add little seams and stuff to it. Like that. And a few little lines just for detail. Like that. A little more. And look at some of these. They have a seam that goes down this back part. So I'm going to add that. A weld seam down here. Draw the rest of this. Let me see if anybody's asking questions. Am I missing anything over here? Nope, everybody looks good. Now, a lot of this is going to get drawn over with my guy, but that's okay. At least I've got it in there. Now, at this point, I can delete the drawing or the 3D model. Make sure I did it all. Yeah. I can delete the 3D model. I don't need that anymore. And then now, well, let me see here. I want to add just one more little weld line right here down the side. Right there. And then add one here. Like that. Just to give it shape. So I'm going to delete the 3D model. And I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to go back, just clean up these lines. Alright. So now I'm going to save this so I don't ruin it and by losing it. Let me find my bull rider. Alright, so at this point I'm going to look at this bull rider for reference. And so see how his legs wrap tight around, and then his toes are pointing out. And so I want to do the same thing. I'm going to have the king's pelvis way back here. So, well, crap. People want, I think a saddle would be good. Dang it, now I have to draw a saddle. Alright, so let me see here. Let me just pull a saddle in here just so I've got it. And if I'm feeling lucky, I'll draw them on there first, and then I may add a saddle. Very Borderlands looking. Well, guess what? I'm glad you asked that because I did work on the Borderlands. Not much, but I did some illustrations for the Borderlands games. I love the Borderlands style. I got to work on the Borderlands game, just some 2D art for them, some illustration stuff. Alright, so you got to think about it like this. His pelvis is going to be here. Let me see. Bareback works better. That's fine. He's going to be the same position anyways. And so his pelvis is going to be here. And it's going to be pointing back like his is pointed back. Because his spine is kind of going like this. And so I kind of think of it the same way. His spine is going to be coming like this. Like that. Coming like that. My Wasteland deck was kind of Borderlands style. In a way. It wasn't as like graphic in terms of like colors and stuff. And so you've got his pelvis here. And I'm just doing this because I'm thinking through this because I want to make it look good. So you've got his sternum here and his shoulder. You see his spine comes like that, and then this arm is basically straight right between his legs. And maybe I don't do it to where he's grabbing a joystick. Maybe I'm doing it where he's bare, like he's really like bareback riding this thing. So, and then this like that. What's wrong with my stylus is not working? So we're gonna have his. Oh crap! Uh-oh, my stylus is not working. It's not liking me right now. I'm about to fix it right quick. Sorry. It's going kind of crazy on me. Uh-oh. What's happening? My computer's going weird. Okay, I think I'm back. I'm going to bring the bomb down in opacity just so I can see what's going on. There we go. So you're going to have, let's do this. So the pelvis, his spine will come back like this, and then his sternum will be like right here. He'll be really far forward, and then we'll have it to where we'll have this outer arm over here be the one that's coming down. That way you can see the arm that's going up to his to the Suicide King part. And so from here we will, well, he's gonna have a strap because he's gonna be riding this like a bronco. So notice how really the legs are tight and they're pretty far back. So we'll bring his knee down like this, straight down, and then this one's going to come down tight too. So that's going to be riding pretty tight. And then his legs, his will be his knees, and then his legs are going to be tight too and back like this. So they're going to be pretty far back, and you won't see that back leg. And then we'll go ahead and turn his feet out like this. And then you'll have a rope or something that comes around the bomb. And then this will be his shoulders. And then this arm will come straight down in front. It's going to be kind of awkward because it goes so far. When your shoulder does that, your body moves so weird. So his arm will come straight down front, elbow right in between his legs. And notice how this guy's hand is up, facing up. So kind of do the same thing. His wrist, then you got his hand, got his thumb, like that, and then his fist. There's his forearm, his wrist. I'll have to work all this stuff out. And then from there, this will come back. There's his lats. And then his lats will come up, and then he'll have his shoulder. Now he's going to have a bunch of clothes on because he's a king. His spine's going to come in like this. He's going to be looking down right there, so. He's pulling down, so he's going to be pretty far down like this. Elbow. And then his hand. I kind of want to have it not that far up. I want to have it down here so that his arm still has that kind of traditional Suicide King look. Yeah, as of now, I don't know. I'm not really feeling. I like this Bronco. I like this Bronco thing a little bit better, controlling the stick, because it's kind of like, I don't know. I like it. Maybe it's the Texas in me that I like it. but I'm feeling it. I also just like the feel, you know. And then if he's riding this, his crown is going to be like flying off. So maybe we'll have it flying off or coming off or something like that, or like back on his head. Then have his like his king hair or whatever. All right, I feel good about that. I like that a lot. And then somehow we'll have like his cape or something. I want to be able to see this stuff back here just because it's interesting. So I'm just gonna have to work at that, see what that's like. All right. So from this point, what time is it? It's already 9:51. Dang it. Let me see if I can just do one element. I'm not gonna be able to draw the whole thing because I don't want to make these too long. Maybe let me see if I can just draw like his face or something. So I'm gonna pull up my King of Spades, and of course, why would I not put a gas mask on him? Because that's my logo, and that would be, I just now thought of that. So I'll just work on his face because I'm not going to be able to do his entire body and make it short or make this YouTube. So I'm just going to try, I'm going to try 10 more minutes, about 10 more minutes, and then I'm just going to try to work in a rough sketch of what his face might look like. All right, so, and this will be a little bit more realistic in terms of like normal human anatomy. So it's going to be kind of a cross between this guy and maybe a real guy. So let's see here. And I want him to be kind of crazy. I don't necessarily want him to be, I mean, I want him to look crazy because he's riding a bomb. So he's got to be pretty serious. But I don't want him to look too serious because one of the things I liked about this art, one thing I like about this nose art is that it's so like crude, because they just had whoever was there or whoever was on the crew draw it, you know. So it really could be anybody. And this is just rough sketches. So when you look at it and say, wow, that looks like crap, it's because it does. Maybe I should do a more traditional approach to it so I can make it not look completely worthless. Gonna have his mouth open. Gonna have his crown like almost like flying off his head. And then the side of his face will be kind of covered up by that hair, that kind of traditional hair that they have come down. I don't know how that will look, but we're just going to play with it for a little bit, see what it's like. May look like crap, but we're going to see anyways. I'm just roughing it in real quick. I could do that. I could put the gas mask behind him. If I do the gas mask on his face, it's a good lazy way for me not to have to draw a face, but that's okay. I'm not really scared of a face. Let me see. Always good to have reference. I don't know what I'm doing. Man screaming. I don't need video. Look at this one. This is awesome. This is what I want. Look at this guy. Well, crap. Look at this guy. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I want to go for. I like that he's... Why can't I... I want to scale it. My Photoshop is acting weird. Huh. But I like this. I like the way this guy looks. I'm going to pull his face out. My Photoshop is doing something. I can't even, like, scale something to make it smaller. Huh. Wonder what I did. Alright, I'll pull him up. I got him on this other screen. I'm going to bring this eyebrow up a little bit. I want to have those real buggy eyes, like he's going crazy. There's not going to be there won't be any art on the bomb itself, because supposedly this art is what's going to be on the side of the plane. So there won't be any art on the bomb. If I do something on the bomb, it'll just be like maybe the name of something. Let's give him his beard. Sorry if I'm not talking. So I want to keep some of those elements of a playing card just so it still has those elements. So it still feels like a playing card. Nothing happened to the heraldry deck. I'm just working on this one right now. I didn't want to start on the heraldry deck until I was really kind of... I don't know what's wrong with my Photoshop. It's not working really well. It's not letting me scale anything. Nothing happened to the heraldry deck. I'm just waiting. Doing lives like this is you kind of got to get back into it. And I haven't done one in so long that... I was just kind of waiting. Let me save this so if I crash. Alright, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to keep going for just a little bit longer. keep drawing to see where it takes me. Maybe he has like a necklace here. And those like those jewels that they always have. And there's a puffy, those big puffy, you know, King Henry VIII puffy shoulders. I want to have something on his clothes that's splitting off. Look back here. Now I'm just kind of sketching at this point. Oops. A little cod piece over here. Some kind of belt of some sort. Then his little cape. His cape will be flying back like this. Obviously I got to make it on the card. Oops. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I like it. I like it. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff with the drawing aspect that I've got to work out. But overall, it's going to look really cool with like those big puffy pants. Let's see here. Like almost like the Knickerbockers. And then his knees come back. And then have his like his little his pointy little 15th century or whatever feet. I'll have to work on that. That looks a little weird. I think it's overall. Let me see here. I'm going to have to work on his legs a little bit more. But let me make this visible. Let's find our bomb. Okay. Just yeah, I'm feeling good. I really like this. I like this a lot. So some of the things that I don't like about this, I don't so much like the angle. Well, it's kind of a love. I like the angle of the bomb because it really feels like it's going down. But because of like his close right here, you lose a lot of that cool, like, you know, geometric stuff of the bomb. And you also kind of lose that it is a bomb a little bit. And so I might end up taking the bomb, let me see, and just pulling it down like this, just so you can see more of the tail piece. Because I think when you lose that tail piece, you lose that it's an actual bomb. And then I can just rotate the whole thing like this. Let me push it, see. Because I want to be able to see that tail piece. Because that's such a cool part. And it's also such a, you know, an identifier of these bombs. See, that's better to me already. Like, I like that a lot better already. And then as I go further, let me just take this stuff. I'll be able to shrink them up a little bit. Like that. And then so the idea is to have it here, and then above it to be kind of like, make sure I'm doing this like I want. And then the idea would be to have, like, you know, the Suicide King or something right there in that kind of font. The same kind of font as like you would have, like I have on the Aces. So if this is like, you've got like Ready Betty, let me see the diamonds, you know, Screaming Mimi, and then you'd have that same type of thing here on, so you'd have a Suicide King, and then you'd have all the things like the speed lines of it all coming down, and so the whole thing would just be like him roaring down this way. I could do the King's Wild Mass. That's super easy. I mean, it's just me having to, I can go in here like this, you know. Make it real big and over exaggerated. If I did that, I'd make his eyes even bigger. Like he's just like super crazy. I might even make him a little bit cross-eyed too. Like he's just going crazy or something. But I don't want him to look like stupid, but I want him to look just like crazed, almost like berserk. Like he's going like aggro and berserk on these peep. I could have his eyeballs popping out. I could do that. Nah, let's not do that. Could do it the flapping in the wind. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, hey, I could even do it where it's like the mask is like back here, like maybe it's falling off, and it's like maybe it's like where it's still on him a little bit. The only thing about having flap in the wind is it's gonna get tied up into here, and it's gonna be in the way. Maybe I have it to where it's falling off or something, and it's like flying behind him. I don't know. And it's kind of flying off behind him. But anyways, so let's see here. Let's bring this back up. I'm feeling good about this. Obviously, I've got a font that I've been using. Let's see, where is it at? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me see if I've got the font here. Do I have? Yeah, I've got it right here. Let me see. I think I have got it in here somewhere. I don't know what it was called. Let me see what I've been using here. Here it is. So let's say, now obviously I'd have to change it up a little bit, but it'll give you the idea of kind of what it's going to look like. Something like that. I think you get the idea. You know, he could be holding the mask, but you know that kind of just ruins the whole. It kind of goes against the entire concept that I have, which is the whole kind of Suicide King, where this guy's riding this bomb, and he's got the sword behind his back, and so he could be holding his mask, but that kind of goes against the whole kind of concept of what the Joker. And so, and I think with the let me save this so I don't lose it. So yeah, I feel good about that. And it wasn't. I think you got to get a good idea of. I think you get a good idea of where I'm going to be going with this. I think I'll be finished with this before next week, so I don't think that I'm going to. I won't continue this next week, but I will try to do a time lapse. I'll try to record me doing a time lapse of me finishing this out, possibly, like doing the tighter drawing of that kind of stuff. I got to work on his legs because you kind of lose his legs underneath that, and it looks kind of weird. I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit because the bomb is not. I like that it's more girthy than the original one, but it's still not quite as big as, say, like a bull. And so I'm just going to have to figure out how to make that work. I may have it to where, I may have it to where his legs come out straight, almost like, that's awful. Like if his calves came just like if his legs were just straight, and then he had like this funny. His heels were down, and then his little feet were like up like this. Just something funny. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to work on the legs to make it look right. But I like this. I think this is going to be fun. I think it's going to go well with the deck and the kind of theme. And so, yeah. So that's about it. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I felt this was much better than last week. I was having a really hard time just getting going last week. And I didn't like anything that I did last week, but I ended up starting over. If I make his legs straight, he'll need spurs. Totally, that's a great idea. I like that. Hit like this. Those big, like, Spanish spurs. I give him some boots. Like cowboy boots. Like big roach killers. That'd be funny. Obviously. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this. He looks like a mascot or something. Anyways. Alright, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me. I appreciate you guys coming out and, watch me do this. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, because a lot of it's just me trying to figure things out, work through it. But I appreciate it. Appreciate the questions. Be on the lookout this week for the finished version of this, and hopefully I'll finish the Jack too. I'd like to do a one-eyed Jack. Maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I can find something to do with a Queen. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to do any pinup stuff, just because I don't want to do any nudity or anything like that on my cards. So we'll see. But I can do pinups without nudity. But we'll see how it goes. I think that's about it. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. This will be up on my YouTube if you want to watch it again or whatever. If you missed it, if you're just joining us, thanks. Yeah. So I'll see you guys next week at Sunday. Hopefully I'm going to try to do these weekly every Sunday night, do these YouTube lives, as you can just watch me do decks of cards and stuff like that. All right, take it easy, guys. Have a great night. Have a great week too.